have you guys or somebody doing it to get it done.
So you want to use the BIA's equipment, just move it down to enrollment?
Yeah,
See, there was talks about that geez, how many years ago? 20 to 22 maybe, Cody? Remember we were talking about that? Our BIA, I think, was the one that mentioned it, brought it up. To try one takeover on it at that time. I think Jana was in that office then. We said, yeah, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if the BIA on their side, because it's their property. I think their biggest thing was who had access to Progeny, because it's a BIA program. It's a computer program that stores all the enrollment data. It's probably like where you have to have the BIA. Remember, they have the cards with the little chips that to get into access to anything, you have to have those. So that was the last I remember that. I don't know what happened to it.
Yeah, I think it quit there.
But either way, the BIA still has to maintain a master enrollment roll for their records as well. So
where does that money go to then, to try where to BIA?
they get money. They have to use their money for the software. But when I asked him about where does the $10 go, he said that goes to the tribe. And I thought it went back to the bureau to pay for the cards. But so while we're waiting for James and them to come back down, and you can hang out with us on this. There is at MGRB Consulting that Garlic Bell and Mr. Killer, that Zoom meeting we were on. I mean, it's always nice to have a lobbyist for us at the state level and federal level. Just I think the problem right now is that expense that we don't have funding to carry for right now.
That's what I was thinking about.
Because it's 12 times.
60-some thousand.
Yeah, 60,000. I think we were all there for that Zoom meeting, right?
yeah.
You wasn't? Okay.
He calls on a different Zoom.
When he gave us that.
No, I was on the phone.
Yeah, Lewis was on another
Calls
meeting.
on a different Zoom.
Yeah.
So what they proposed was their consulting services for us for advocacy to the state and the tribal government, federal levels. But their fee is $5,000 a month. $5,500.
5,500 a month.
So, like I said, a couple of things he did do, he expressed in the Zoom that he did on behalf of the tribal area with freebies, he called it, if I remember right. So as of right now, we don't owe these guys anything for the couple of things they did for us.
You know, just on a fun note, it occurred to me after that Zoom meeting, he reached back out to us, if I remember right. I can't remember what it was, if he had a bill up on the floor or something. But he basically reached out and he said, can I please use Lower Brule in my comments to the legislature? I just wanted to point out that he kind of wants Lower Brule as much as we want him. He wants to be able to go out there and say, yes, I represent Lower Brule and I lobby for them. So just on that note, if we do come into a moment in time when we want to hire him and negotiations of the contract are in play, I think Lower Brule has some bargaining power there. Just on that note, for future reference, that's all.
He did just send me a message. This afternoon. Hope you got the info I sent. The Chinese buyers looking for a lot of corn, 1 million tons overall. But like I said, I don't know if our corn's all spoken for already. Plus with the trade restrictions going on with China, with the United States right now, I'm not sure how feasible of a thing that is even to begin with.
Well, and on that note, this council's been presented by someone who may be even a better contact point to get in touch. That gentleman, he sat right here, I think he was with the state, or there was a lady with the state, and then maybe he was like a tag along based out of Sioux Falls, but he had all those foreign contacts, and Louis, that's that day he was talking about. Do you recall his name? I can't recall his name. It would take an email search and to dig it out, but there were three of them. I can't remember if it was that small business economic development group that came from the state to do that, but he was the guy who said he had worked with Boyd in the past. He was really excited about getting Lakota Foods up and going again and the popcorn. And he was the one with all those foreign contacts. So I just thought, if there is a foreign market on corn going right now, he would be the guy we should be talking to.
Remember he was talking?
And I'd love to follow up on that, but no.
Oh, yeah, those guys, the SBA,
The day
SBA, Small Business Administration.
So there was a gentleman along with him. I think he had his own side.
Yeah, he was the guy that sat there. Yeah.
I think anyway, the corn thing made me think I want to get in touch with that guy and see what's.
He gave out cards as I remember.
Yeah,
I think I got his card.
So,
we've all been.
You can have that.
but on top of that, right now, you have that proposal in front of you. Like I said, I gave my statement on it. I mean, if it was feasible, yeah, but I think we all know where our finances stand.
It's a good proposal and feasible about it.
So what say the council? What do you?
Just like you guys said, it's a good proposal. And I have I worked with them in the past on some things, but I just don't think it's feasible for the tribe right now.
Would you like me to reach out to him and just let him know council considered it and discussed it, took no action on the matter? Or would you prefer?
Yeah, well, I mean, for the record, you should let everybody, give their feelings on it first, on the council side, what they think. So, Chris Bokes, you have me on it, Joel? It's on this one? Yeah.
Is it really needed? Adam? No? I guess we could do without that, especially when we can't afford it.
I would consider it a luxury item.
Yeah.
I wonder if it goes around to all tribes and offers the same services at the same rate. So I can see some duplicate.
Yeah, I think he does. Let's see where it's on that third page. He
Yeah.
tells the tribes he represent, current and past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Sioux tribes on it.
If you look, there's even housing authorities on there too. All I need is a consensus. Yay, nay.
Not right now.
Here, what's your thoughts there, Big Russ?
Well, there's 6 Sioux tribes. Each charges $66,000 a year. So he takes that 66,000 times his 6 tribes. What is that, about 40,000?
40,000.
400,000?
Yeah.
It just gets from Sioux tribes, and he probably duplicates services. Like, we all kind of have the same ones, all the same.
He's a lobbyist. And that is his service.
But on the other hand, we'll need lobbyists also. I would like to, would he be willing to come back, or do we need him to come back?
You said no. Right? You said it's not really needed?
Yeah, correct. I don't think the tribe is in desperate need of lobbyist services at this moment.
So just off,
My recommendation, based on all circumstances considered.
off those 6 tribes, he gets $396,000.
I believe it. And
And look how many others, you know.
he better be a good lobbyist.
Well, if he was lobbied, let's say we hired him to work on the national grasslands up there. What would he do? Just go and try to sell that to the governor probably, and then the congressional people?
Yeah. His strategy, I have no idea how he approaches his lobbying efforts, but that's essentially it.
So if he works for like the Rosebud or the Oglalas, he probably works on land issues. And if there's decisions that have to be made on the congressional level, then that would open the road for Lower Brule to get whatever the Ogallala and Rosebuds get, correct?
Yes, whatever groundwork he lays, wherever he lays it, sets the way for the next person to follow, for sure.
I have no more.
So do you guys want to take this under advisement, or do you guys want to vote on it to yay or nay it?
I think
Biden right now, but I don't think we should make any actions on it, 'cause we don't have the funding for it. Just my-
Is a consensus across the board? Tables, and you can reach out to them. Next one is the Indian Collective. If you look on in your agendas, I should have screenshot the date. This was a few days ago. From Indian Collective, I think you're part of Indian Collective, aren't you?
No, I just,
Or but you know, they're like an activist group.
they reach out to you.
Not on this one. This was on their page. And we did do a couple support resolutions before, like on the Pactola was the co-stewardship, if I remember right, agreement, the other tribes, but this one is the OST Council passed a resolution requesting immediate approval of the U.S. Forest Service proposed mineral withdrawal to ban mining near the surrounds of the Pactola Reservoir in the Black Hills. And on here it says organizers now looking for 15 other recognized tribes to exercise their legal indigenous rights to agree and support the resolution to protect Haisapa from the impacts of mineral deconstruction for the next 20 years. So it's more or less writing a resolution to support. It's weird that it's coming from the Forest Service, people, but to stop the extraction of mining in the Black Hills.
I think there's like several orgs up there that are doing the work during the Black Hills Water Alliance. They're pushing for the same thing, which is with Carla Marshall and all them. And then you have Nick Tilson and their group, but Nick Tilson, Indian Collective's like they got their own branches, which ones cover which. So a lot of them are all fighting the same fight, is to basically try to maybe trying to reach out to, I would sit there and say, do a letter of support.
So I called NDN, that's right? NDN yesterday. I don't know if you knew that. not today, but tomorrow, from I think the Nick, probably, or whoever wrote the picture that you took.
Yeah.
Should try to get some more information, because I also called Oglala and I didn't get any feedback, because I was really curious, like, why'd they pass this resolution? What's going on? Because as I looked into it, I found myself thinking the same thing. What's going on? This is a federal rule being pushed by the feds. It's actually the feds' idea to protect the Black Hills in this situation. So I was kind of wondering why they were pushing.
Well, there was a meeting, was it last week, 2 weeks ago, out in Rapid?
Yeah. And that was the Pactola.
Yeah, that pactoral, I think that was part of it was discussed, that's why this came about.
Their monitors.
I could try to find out more too, or on Saturday on the chairman's meeting, I'll be attending by Zoom.
It looked to me like the rule is gonna happen, like it's gonna happen, so I wondered if it's being like challenged.
When they talk about, the number of tribes here, I think it's all the tribes that are listed that have stake in the Black Hills of our original treaty territories. Whether or not it's that much, that's probably why they're looking, I think, when I read this, where it says looking for 15 other recognized tribes to exercise our rights to agree to support that resolution. But we can table, if anything, was more informational, but to say if a resolution does come across, you have an understanding of what it's about. It's, I think we're all in agreement that we got to stop taking from our hills, because rightfully so, every mineral that was extracted from the Black Hills, the treaty tribes that have ownership to that and never once agreed to that. The tribes have never been compensated for that. And my argument was, there's the land and there's the minerals within it. It's like the BIA, your surface minerals, so they say. My thing was to the Great Plains Tribal Chairman Association was, we never consented to the extraction of any minerals out of the Black Hills. So everything the government took already, gold, silver, uranium, whatever it be, the tribe should have been compensated without saying we're accepting them, the payment for the Black Hills. It's no, you're taking our resources. So you should pay for that. And that money should be split up equally between all the tribes who are signed to that land. Without saying we're giving up our land. It's just saying you took something from our land without our permission. And so the government needs to account for that. So that's what that was. My pitch to the Great Plains was.
I did speak with Mark. I messaged Nick to give me a number to call you. Kind of give you a better what they're asking.
Yeah, just why the need for a resolution when it looks like it's already being supported?
Well, I think it's just the more of the support strengthens the actual thing.
Yep.
Because in the end, it is protecting our actual real treaty ground.
And I just wonder if Congress isn't like stalled up on this particular forest rule or something, or it's sitting in some weird act.
It's not gold that they're going after. It's the lithium that they're going after.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's what they're digging more into.
Uranium?
There's uranium, and then I think at the Great Plains Tribal Chairman's meeting, what they stated was the waters are getting more polluted and they can't drink it and whatsoever, so it's getting more damaging. But
You know what? Go ahead.
that's it.
When, the elderly or the Lakotas, when they talk about all that gold mining that's taking place out there, they say that's like taking the heart out of the Black Hills. By ban mining, you're gonna probably take the liver out. And then it's gonna be the lungs, and so forth and so on. So I would recommend to the rest of to our council to support a resolution that does that.
I agree, but I think we should wait till we hear from Nick Tilson. Maybe to let him speak with the chairman or our lawyer to see going forward on that. Like I said, it's important we do. But
Maybe they have a draft resolution too that we could use.
Yeah, just something that's there to support.
I wrote the resolution already. Is it, not, like, I recommend supporting it. There, in no way is it a bad idea to support this at all. And support Nick.
I mean, it would just be greater to hear, to build that relationship with Indian Collective to help. They're asking that we could build an actual relationship. In case we need, we could actually utilize maybe more grant opportunities for the tribe also through their programs, but it also strengthens them. So it's just my thoughts, but I'm in agreement, we should support it.
So, you got anything to say on it, Joe?
Adam has given the okay.
Yeah. And regardless, we'll visit with NDN about this. Hopefully I get a phone call back tomorrow even.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty safe to say the council's in agreement that we just want to see the fine-tooth work of the resolution and how that's all gonna be shaped out. Then next meeting, we can approve it and move on.
That's fine too.
Support.
Yeah, no pressing.
Sounds good. The next item in your agenda is,
Organization.
payment request for the roof leaks.
Those guys that were doing all the work on the roof. Did they ever stop that noise then when the wind blows?
What?
Was they the ones that were supposed to work on it?
Oh, there's no way you can stop that noise, but they worked on the leaks. So I guess we'll find out next time it rains.
How come we can't do anything about it?
Because those steel poles stick up way up there, so, and they rattle together, so.
He needs to scale them.
These steel poles.
What?
Those steel poles on the outside are
Yeah.
different from these ones. They're not connected.
Yeah, it's a weird design, so.
Only one in the world, probably.
Probably.
Make a motion.
So, I got a motion by Cody, second by Lewis to approve. We'll wait for Mr. Skunk to come back, ratify this. No word from the Bureau. You know, what I wanted to, ask them was, and while you're here, Ron, headache from hell. When we met a few months back, maybe even 4 months now, with Boyd and Doc and you and the IT department of revamping our public information department of getting out more current info, how we can do that. Because under the cultural resource department is / public information office, but as I stated in that meeting a while back, that a lot of the good things happening here doesn't get out either. Most times it's always the bad or somebody doesn't agree with it. There's a lot of good things that happen for the tribe that's just not getting out there fast enough, whether it be, we can only put so much video space onto the tribal website because of the limited gigabytes or megabytes we have on there in the meeting minutes. But if we have a faster process to put out public statements about happenings within the tribe, agreements or things that are going to benefit the tribal members, and how we can expedite that information and who that would fall under. And I remember a while back, we were talking about revamping our tribal website. When Doc was here as well, talking about like Councilman's Corner or something like that, Council Ladies Corner, of anything they wanted to give us an update. But also like to push out like the program we passed with the courts to get the officers trained with the mental health things, eval care. So a lot of good things that the tribe has done and worked with different agencies to do faster press releases. And that, it does come from my secretary's office as well, but we know she's hammered out with the half program stuff and all the other stuff. So we're looking how we can try to maybe speed that up and meet weekly, maybe at the end of the week, and say, okay, what do we need to work on as public information to help get that on our tribal website or do a press release on it? You know, like other tribes do, because it seems like we're too far behind the game here. Just like the shoreline project. You know, what Joel say, 30 some $30 million project coming up, and our match was around 3 million, and he went out there and secured a America the Beautiful, maybe that was the name of the grant, or another grant that paid for our match to it, you know, so that saved the tribe $3 million right there. So without us getting that information out fast enough, a lot of people don't know that. So it's just like all the other happenings here. How we can work with you and Boyd, because we already talked about it. Now it's just implementing it and how that's going to work and who's in charge of that to get that information out there. Because the more is better. You know, 'cause of course it's not always going to be positive news, but we want to show the good things that are happening here by council and our employees and our programs and those state and federal and other tribal agencies we work with on these different projects. So that current happenings is there, you know, and they can see that for themselves. And then we put that contact information on there of who they contact for more information. Like I said, I think it's only would help the tribe, not hurt. It's just sitting down and planning this out of, okay, how do we do it? And who's going to be responsible for it? You know what I mean? So.
Well, maybe having like an Instagram account, you know, for the tribe, because I know like young people get on that, and then with the website too, that would cover more people.
Adam said he likes X, Twitter. No, I'm just kidding.
I do.
I don't do Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
Everybody does Facebook.
Yeah, but the fact that anything we can do to get the good stuff out there, that is happening here within this tribe and things that are coming for this tribe. I mean, the multi-billion-dollar school project, working on a new school system, the store, the 360 acres of land we just got back, you know.
Yeah.
Some of those good things, you know.
Much has happened.
Yeah, and it's just putting it all down on paper, then putting that out there and how this all works and stuff. And it's giving credit where credit's due. I truly believe in that. You know, one man, one council show. It's everybody working together to make it happen.
Oh, Chris is involved in that, aren't you?
Yeah.
With the webpage?
Yeah.
Shortly.
So while we're waiting,
Nick Dixon, contact you, said,
Cody made a motion, Lewis seconded for this draft in your packet for tribal finance to pay the contractor who did emergency work on the tribal administration building roof leaks.
That's why I ran and asked Tristan about too, that as long as it's just pertaining to this.
Yeah, that's all it says on here. I think it's about $30,000 bill, I think.
I've reviewed the bill as well. And
Say what? Brother call. You can have his brother call. Okay, we got about in an hour.
I told him we're in session.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, and he attached the resolution from August 2021, resolution 2021-297. Where the council at that time did approve the administration building to use ARP funds to get our building up to date.
It's in 10 minutes, isn't it?
So, motion by Cody, second by Lewis. Any discussion, Lewis? No, Chris?
My only discussion was that it was pertaining to this job.
Jewel? Cody?
No question.
Call for the vote. Louis?
Four.
Chris? Jewel?
Four.
Cody?
Four.
Motion carries 4-4, 1 absent. Stephanie out there?
Yeah, she is. Over by Blair.
Yes, Carmen can be here, but Stephanie's in her place to talk for her. Real quick, Mr. Tubals and Mr. Blackrow. Did you get to talk to that individual yesterday then on that, from Farmers National on that then? So is he gonna need all copies of those? It's just more of a simplified breakdown sheet?
It's the range limits.
You didn't need the ag leases, so.
Yeah.
He has for the different kinds of agreements or leases too.
He just wants the range.
Can ask you for that later on.
Would you say the name was the company that did the Avis, that did your guys' assessment for you? And that was in 2020?
2021, I believe.
AVIS is the system?
It's a land survey,
AVIS?
yeah. They did one in Rosebud recently too, last year or two.
And is that something called by the tribes to have to do that, or is that a standard Bureau thing?
Usually the Bureau will contract it out, but it's easier to 638 it to the tribe. In this case, it was wildlife at first. Pennies.
Was that when he was looking into that, land insurance stuff? The guy was trying to sell us insurance on our land, like, if you rained, you wouldn't get nothing. Oh, it's called like drought insurance. But then if there's a drought, you'd get paid for it, but if not, you're paying in for it, you're not getting nothing back if you get enough ample moisture. I don't know if you remember that.
I heard of it.
All right, I think he was from Arizona or somewhere.
Hey, there's a big difference, excuse me, Captain, from you guys, or that gentleman that did that. They came in and viewed the land, did that appraisal. And then National Farmer, they come in at 48. The AIA comes in at 24. I asked Farmers National, why is there such a big difference? It's twice.
Wayland's got a question for you.
I have a question. Are you saying he's doing the survey as a land appraisal, as besides a grazing rate?
I think so.
Then of course the land appraisal will be worth more than what the grazing rate would be. Because the land appraisal is when you're gonna sell the land.
What was a range, the way it was worded on the paper we got yesterday was called Range Land Review, or LR, of current price the tribe should be getting per AUM.
Yeah.
It was double what Avis said, so we're trying to figure
I
out,
wonder if he's doing it as a land appraisal, like for a land sale maybe?
no, it's just a whole,
We'll have to review it.
yeah, because I think I sent it up to you guys to take a look at.
I didn't see it.
Anyway, I asked you why such a discrepancy in the rates? And his answer was, I don't know. That's why we're
Well, we don't,
come back to
the only rates we set is for the allotted interest, not the tribal. The tribe sets the rate.
And
And actually, it's set through when a range unit becomes vacant and it gets bid out. So it goes to the highest bidder.
so the Avis only did the allotted assessment, or all tribal leases?
probably can go across the board to a lot and tribal trust. But for the purposes of it, it's for the allotted, because the tribe can do their own, set their own rates. So we just go with what the tribe says.
Did we ever lease on a year-to-year basis?
Not that I know of, no.
It's always been, what, 10 years?
Well, 5 years,
5 or 10?
then it went to 10 years. And now it's where it's at now, so.
So it's always, so it was originally at 5 and then it got bumped to 10?
Yeah, I forget when, around 2012 or so, it went up to 10.
Do you remember the reason why?
That's a council action. I don't know why, so.
They have to probably do with maybe borrowing power?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe the CFR changed too, and the tribe just follows.
No, if there was a CFR change, then they would have to stick by it, and I don't know why. It's a tribal thing, but it goes back to why it was changed, and that's why my gut is telling me it's because of borrowing power. If you have a longer lease, you can borrow against that for you going to the bank to get your operation loan for cattle or horses or whatever you're trying to. That's my guess, but I'm not.
Well, I think that the tribe had the authority to either approve it for 5 years or 10 years. It was the tribe's call.
And just like on the home leases, remember? There's some banks that want you to have, 40 now? 30? And the tribes used to be 25. So they have to come to the council and request an extra 5 years onto that home site lease to meet the bank requirements to loan them that mortgage cost. Something like that, because I think the council did it a few times since I've been on council.
Yeah, those mortgage loans go through, call that at section 184, where a lender can mortgage on trust lands. That had to be a special.
On a allotted land, right? On leased land too?
Tribal land allotted. You don't have to get the tribe's permission to get a mortgage. Trusts, you'll have to get the tribe's permission for tribal land. That's why they wanted a 30-year lease, because usually a mortgage is a 30-year.
So
Mortgage.
if you have a 30-year lease with the tribe, you can mortgage your house or land or cattle?
Well, you need a mortgage for a house, build a house.
You can't. You can mortgage your house?
I don't know.
I'm sure you can, because there's a member out there that did that. That's right.
I'm unaware of that, so.
And are the agricultural and the grazing leases gonna be two separate amounts most of the time?
Yeah, it depends, like in agriculture, it depends on pasture, the hay, the native hay, the tame grass, the irrigated, it just depends on the.
That's hard for me to understand. The difference between the two, and I read the definition, and I still don't understand. So when you have an agriculture lease, you're probably a farmer. And if you have what's the other one, grazing permit, you're a rancher.
Correct.
A fair assessment?
I think it's called an agricultural lease, but it also can incorporate like a pasture. Usually. But a range unit, those are permits,
An
grazing permits.
lease probably is costs less than a grazing lease. Is there such a thing as a grazing lease?
No,
The difference between the two?
grazing permit.
Yeah. The agriculture is less, correct? Less rate?
So you can, on agriculture, you can't hay it. Like you said, plant your crops or whatever. And whereas on a grazing permit, you can't, it's grazing. But also, it's a condition where you have a hay permit as well.
So if you have a grazing permit, can you divorce that and then apply for agriculture lease? You can't.
Is there people that have both?
Yeah,
So they farm one area and ranch the other? And for,
It's not really farming, it's just, they're gonna cut hay off of it, so.
so it's cutting hay farming?
You have to get a permit.
Yeah, but you would,
But it falls onto your agricultural lease, right?
No, hay permit is only allowed under a range unit.
so is haying farming?
It's just,
there's
Good question.
lots of, hay, there's native hay, there's, pasture hay,
Yeah.
it's all different, like tame grass, natural grass, depends on what you're gonna hay. If it's for feed or if it's
if you get a good wet season, you're gonna probably have a second cutting. And you might wanna hay it, so you come in and you get a permit from range and, you hay it.
So those guys get 3 cuts there?
I don't know, I'm
So
usually, you know,
who at the tribe would get a copy of all those permits when they come in, do it? Does it come to the chairman or vice chairman, or is there?
no, it just goes through us.
So how are we supposed to know on the tribal side though of what's taking place on our tribal lands? I mean, would it just come off of your updates once a month from the council meetings? Yeah,
I know at one time Rosebud had an issue with that, but it turned out it wasn't the tribe's fault, but the superintendent or the person who was in charge of stuff like that, even cutting wood, they were rubber stamping down there the president's signature. And that was a big issue down there because they had so many cut rights of timber down there that weren't enrolled there. Of course, I had to investigate it. And when I talked to the BIA, they kind of laughed about it. Because they were rubber stamped. So I was going to indict them for doing that. Because, you know, government ain't gonna do anything. But I think that situations like this, I think the tribe should be involved in that. Because it's our land. I think the biggest problem that we have is the government, but not only them, it's natives. They're supposed to be, you know, natives, you know, and understanding, but you get into the government, that goes away. And I know there's regulations and stuff like that, but when it comes to this, I think that the council should be the one authorizing it, not the, you know, because we're not kids anymore. That should be changed.
Can I say something? That reminds me of the Petersons, because they graze and they feed their hay.
I think they own that land up there
So,
though.
yeah, I just thought of that.
Well, I know we don't, in the past, we've never rubber stamped. That is, the range management specialist would go out and make sure that there is, what they're saying is true. And then issue out a permit. But it's, you know, there's strict guidelines to it. Like, are they gonna sell it or are they gonna use it for their operation? Usually it's for their operation, so.
and it's, oops,
This is part of land management.
go ahead, Cody.
If I wanted to add somebody, if a person wanted to add somebody to the lease, does that just take tribal action or council action?
You send that up to the Bureau with your request, then they bring it down to us, and then it takes care of
Yeah, the tribe-
on the process.
No, the tribe has to approve it.
But I mean, the request goes up to you guys, then you guys bring it down to us and then the council ratifies it, right?
Usually, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes people come directly to the council, so.
So what do you do with it? Just record it someplace?
Yeah, it's recorded in our system called
Yeah.
TAMS.
You give it back to the tribe?
So with the permit, so let's say this AC is not using some of these tracks for 1 year. The range guy will go out and measure the grass, and they're not using that for that year, they can hay that for that year. And the next year they can't. So it's, if they're having their cows on it for 1 year and they're not on this track, while the following year, they can hay it and move their cows to other tracks. And that's how it's been working, I guess.
So who goes down and checks?
The range guy would,
You guys can check.
as of right now.
And the wood permit, does that come from the Bureau then? Or the
That's well,
wildlife?
We've never done a wood permit.
We never done one. I don't think you have the timber resources for that.
But it's just still on there because it's considered a resource? Because I remember I didn't even know we had one until I was like, I don't know how many years ago, and I just found that out. I was like, I didn't know you had to go get a permit just to cut wood, but.
You do?
So, yeah. So I figured it's because it's considered a resource.
Right.
So who do we pay to cut wood? You guys?
You don't pay, you just apply for a permit. It's kind of like applying for a burn permit in a sense. So that's, these are all good questions, and maybe you're not some of the favorable answers we wanted, but it's, like I said, when we talk about grazing and agriculture, hay land, pasture land, it's easy to get it confused and then trying to sort it all out and distinguish between the difference of the two. But I think it goes back to good, solid land management. And I don't know if we need to do a resolution to request that the tribe be given a copy of all haying permits and anything that's taking place on tribal lands, whether it be by a tribal leasee member or a non-tribal member leasee. So we have an idea of what's going on, I guess, out there on our tribal lands.
I haven't seen a haying permit for a long time now.
And all our leasees should know that because it's all spelled out in either a grazing permit lease or agricultural leases, those, right? So,
When he said,
So not everybody hays. I mean, not everybody hays. Maybe one or two.
Matt Gunnarsson, the guy from Farmers National, had some guys go out in the field to take a look at the land. And I thought we have like 23 different leases, do we not?
Leases are permits.
Leases or permits?
23?
he said leases are permits.
Oh, leases.
We have 139 agricultural leases.
But I don't think wait, I need to reword the question so I get the correct answer. So we have 23 different people that lease land. Is it 23? 24?
There's 27 range units.
27? Okay. Does that mean there's 27 different ranchers?
Maybe 25,
25?
because there's some that.
So some have two
or three.
okay, I got you. Yeah, I was trying to figure out. He said they visited all 30 units. That kind of confused me, but now.
Very good detailed report. Very good.
How's that play into the 134 ag leases in terms of the 27? Are they the same folks?
No.
Huh.
Well, what do you mean?
I don't know. Well, the same holder. If we have 27 main holders of these, or 25 leaseholders
Lease?
Permits.
on permits,
Range
are they
units.
all on range units? Do they also hold the ag leases?
Some
too?
do, yes.
Some do.
See, he told us he visited all 30 units, though, but I understand.
And he's probably talking about range units.
Yeah.
Yes.
When one can have two or three.
27 range units.
So And some of the range unit holders also have agricultural leases. So that's where some of that confusion comes from. Like I said, I think for the sake of the tribe in the future, the tribe, when, I think he said he's gonna be down Friday, that guy's gonna swing through. I mean, I'll be here. We might have to just sit down, have a talk if we all have enough time, that day, depending how much time he's got, if you guys' availability.
I won't be here.
Try to figure some of this stuff out because, we know this transition process is gonna happen with, the natural resource position. And I think there's still a little bit of confusion on the transfer over that natural resources position to the tribe because of the fact that you said you guys would still retain some of it because of the allotted through the trust beneficiary status, I imagine, right? So, but I think it's causing confusion then, well, how much of the budget will the tribe get out of that? What'd you say, $200,000 budget? And then what about some of the equipment? So if we're not fully funding that transfer over the land management office for that natural resources position, how is the tribe supposed to fully execute that 638 of the land management job through the natural resources position if we're not fully funded and we're not fully equipped with the equipment we need to successfully do that job? So it's like we're setting us up to fail on that. That's kind of, my perception of it. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but that's kind of.
It's probably something you need to assess,
When we get ready to 638, that land management office, what do you BIA folks need? Just a request to do that from the tribe?
It's already in the process.
It is?
Yep.
So what has to happen now?
Right now, there's a 90-day deal, and there'll be some negotiation on what the funds and the equipment are gonna go.
Yeah.
Because we still have an obligation to the allotted interests.
So
How much it is, I don't know.
who makes that decision? Aberdeen then or DC?
Aberdeen and the tribe.
Huh?
It's negotiable.
So James, are you saying then, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Vice Chairman, are you saying that us guys on the tribal side, since you guys are gonna be responsible for allottees, we would only be responsible for the other half and not the allottee side then?
Right. As I understand it. Because it happened in Pine Ridge. You still have to have a realty running the TAMS program because you gotta show ownership. And that's what the program of TAMS does.
So what's the ownership document?
Who is titled to what land? Tribal or allotted? That's what they do.
So the tribe in a nutshell would just be responsible for the leased land to oversee.
No, your range units.
The range, it's leased land.
Allotted to?
It's not leased.
Leased too, but.
It's not leased. It's a permit, range permit. Yeah.
Then a lot of allotted.
The difference, the range, the permit is not legally binding and the lease is, right? It's a contract.
So, but allotted land holders.
Range guy, or you guys will do the travel tracks in the range.
We have leases out there that are $3 an acre, is that correct?
The ag leases,
Yeah, because the discussion we had yesterday with Farmers National is some of the land is leased at between $3 and $20 an acre.
it's probably, what is the AUM?
That's your guys' rate on hay.
What?
That's the tribal rate for hay.
$3 an acre? Which piece of land is that?
It's whatever hay is on any lease, it's $3. So you can have an agricultural lease that has 6 different amounts. Because there's an agriculture part in it, some part has native hay, some is wetlands maybe, and the other part is for pasture only, like maybe a side of a hill. So all that's gonna have a different amount,
And is that per acre?
yeah, per acre. So hay is $3,
3, oh.
and green grass is $3. And that's the tribal rate.
But you had a bale of hay selling from anywhere between 60 and $100, right? On a good year? On a drought year, you could almost double that, right? Well, you know, and I appreciate you guys coming down and answering this. I said the reality, and I probably said it before, but I'll say it again. The reality is, situation, if BIA and Aberdeen would fully staff you guys, we wouldn't even be having this conversation and wouldn't even have to 630 our natural resources. It's just that we feel there's not enough supervision happening with our tribal lands. And we got people getting leases that don't even meet the minimum 70% required to have their stocking rate of their own to qualify for the lease. And we're not picking on anybody, it's just saying what it is. And that's why I look at both sides of things. It would be a lot cheaper for the Bureau to fully fund that 638 at natural resources position than turn around and face a lawsuit over dereliction of duty or failing to uphold trust responsibilities to uphold those departments within the Bureau to do that job in the first place. And like I said, I try to be a workable guy, and I just to call it as I see it.
It's pretty tough to recruit and get applicants, qualified applicants, because
Especially
the range management specialist requires a college degree. And usually, like the guy we had at one time, Wade Christensen, was a graduate at SDSU, and he really knew his job. And those kind of guys are hard to find. And, you know, and then we're really rural. But I find out with all our jobs, I mean, we got some major positions open now, and you can't find people. They're not applying either, like.
And the Bureau does contract though with certain jobs. I know the ones they can, it'd be like the certain few that are the awarding officials. But other stuff, and Greg Borland said this himself up in Aberdeen when I went to a chairman's meeting up there, was, yes, the BIA does contract certain departmental jobs when there's no availability. So couldn't the Bureau look at all these agencies within South Dakota for our tribes and say, okay, which positions do we need to contract out to contracting companies like Farmers National, for example, to say, why don't we bring them to contract and go do BIA range natural resources lease compliance, land compliance? I mean, maybe it'd be a different story. We wouldn't even be talking about this either, because like I said, it just goes back to those trust responsibilities and that fiduciary responsibility by the Bureau to make sure that the tribe is getting the best bang for their buck on our tribal lands, because it just seems like the tribe's been shooting themselves in the foot for a lot of years, and the Bureau, we're just not synced up where we need to be. And like you said, the work shortage is everywhere, but we have to find a way around that.
Also the pandemic, you know, we lost the employee that we had there, and it's, you know, been 2-3 years since we had really good coverage. It hasn't gone that long, you know, so.
Do you have even a guess on a timeline of when this transfer of this position is going to happen? Even at that, the selection process, once we finally get that figured out on the tribal side, then getting that job announcement criteria, then putting that out there, then that process. Because like I said, I mean, we'd probably have to send that everywhere within the state, even maybe it's a few other states. but the fact of how long, do we have an idea of that timeline? So whether or not you can contact Aberdeen on our behalf and say, the tribe requests that the Aberdeen Area Agency contract out the Lower Brule natural resources position until we turn it over to the tribe to go out and do lease compliance checks on Lower Brule Sioux tribal lands. Is that possible?
Well, yeah, we can ask for help.
Because especially if we don't have a timeline, you know, and we're shorthanded just like you in these specialty
I
positions.
talked to other agencies and their range guys are either they're shorthanded or they got a huge workload.
And that requires, when you're talking about the degree, a 4-year degree in, what is it, agronomy or agriculture, or what's the?
Technology, natural instincts. And there's a couple others.
That's agricultural, you know, and it's real more complicated than I can understand it either.
It is, but it doesn't have to be. I think that maybe that's something the tribe and the Bureau need to look at, is simplifying that.
Well, we can simplify it, but then I think we would be doing the tribe a disservice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying put somebody in who don't know diddly squat, but get somebody with a minimum of maybe a 2-year degree and maybe a.
Getting somebody to do lease compliance, that's not a hard thing, just if they're gonna do that for their only job description.
And that's where I'd love to see the BIA working with our tribal colleges and say, hey, these are the specialty fields that there's these positions are needed bureau-wide, area-wide, regional-wide, even out of South Dakota. But that the tribal colleges can focus on these specialist jobs that require a little more extensive training to say, hey, this is a good career path if you so choose, if you're good in math and land or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? Because none of us probably we're all on the same page as that we don't see this problem going away anytime soon. For some reason, just like the teacher shortage, more and more or less people are not wanting to be teachers. So pretty soon you're going to have robots teaching our kids. But the fact of the matter is, if we're not addressing it and being honest with each other now of how we come up with a plan together to work, how we work on this together to make it beneficial to the tribes and still have a minimum maintaining that line of experience on the bureau level to meet those qualification levels. I mean, I think that's how I feel. I mean, maybe I'm just talking over my head, but it's just something we know that needs to happen. You know, and I want to work with you guys as much as I can to try to figure this out.
Well, I got one guy who's really interested in it, but I have contracts. I don't know where we're at then, so.
So but the thing is with this one, it's just getting those qualifications set up and say, here, here's the minimum qualifications that are needed for this job, right? So, and most of them are 4-year degrees with those specialties in agronomy or agricultural background.
Well, the specialists require 4-year and a technician can just be experienced.
Can they tweak that to be experience in that field as well, or does it have to be the degree and experience?
That's up to the agency or the tribe. I was gonna do that, but then I thought I'd be doing a disservice by downgrading it.
I understand. I have no more questions for him. Anybody else have any questions for him? Oh, yeah, we did that. They said that the same thing that can do is the same thing they can do, right? On the tribal IDs.
Yeah, but do you want to leave it up to upstairs or you want to bring it down?
But remember, that's in progeny, so there has to be, I don't know if it's a certification process, you have to be able to access progeny, because it's a sensitive department with the Bureau, so you have to get the key card and all that stuff.
Oh, it's no problem if that's what you want to do. I mean,
So will we get the funding for that too? To purchase the software? Or is that another
we don't
tribal?
have funding specifically for it when there's extra funds.
So who does enrollment fall under? Which department does it fall under within the Bureau?
It's just the whole agency.
And there's,
Right now, Wayland runs it, but.
but there's no
But
certain
others,
department whatsoever.
really, he shouldn't be, but it's a collateral duty.
Well, so are we looking to buy new equipment or you want to use their?
That is pretty much new equipment they have, so
Yeah.
just transferring that equipment over.
Up there rolling.
But does that go up to the bureau to reso that up there, then they review it, then send down their opinion?
No?
I mean, I have some packets of.
You remember what the hiccup was last time when we talked about this a couple years ago?
It used to be a funded 638, and I think now you get a little more, $2,000 for enrollment. So it's not enough to fund a FTE, a full-time employee.
So it's just gonna be an added.
So it's like
Somebody,
it's just an added collateral duty that our employees do. And if the tribe wants it, sure. You'd have to maintain the database, like your membership rolls, and create a certificate of blood certificates, or 4432s, what the government requires for tribal members to get government jobs.
yeah.
I mean, I think it was one of the biggest deals, just because I know that you're always busy at times and we're always getting people coming and asking, can you get a travel ID going up there? I mean, just to train somebody that could help and help use your guys' equipment to get those travel IDs.
Yeah, we have to go through a long background check, and we've done that before. I think we had John Lawn Turkey was doing that, and then the funds ran out. I think at one time we even had Brad Wilson, so.
Maybe we have our enrollment person do.
So how do,
I don't know.
when you talk about the database, though, does she have to get another hard drive to keep that on a separate drive? Because just enrollment alone is gonna take up a lot of space on your gigabytes, your hard drive.
I don't know.
Are you gonna transfer all that information onto there? Or is it just gonna be new information?
Be one of our equipment.
And see, that's what I'm saying. How's that gonna work if we're on, if the tribe and the BAA are on two separate internet systems, how's that gonna work? That's,
Well, they should be able to use their database.
The only thing is that it's protected by the Privacy Act, you know. I think it's just a matter of IT figuring out how to transfer the database to whatever server you got.
I think we give that task to our IT department to sit there and work with you guys and come up with a plan of how this transfer process will work. Do we have everything we need? How much this is gonna cost the tribe, and then come back to us with that analysis, and then the council take a vote on it. That's my opinion, but you can ask these guys what they think. If
That sounds legal to me.
I'll stay low.
everybody in agreement with that?
Like, we have, I mean, I have requests coming in from every tribal program that say, look, and I say no, because I don't know what your security means. And so they're like, well, I need their date of birth, I need their address. I was like, no, I'm not giving that to you.
Yeah.
I can give you the name and the age, that's it.
Yeah, that is sensitive information, you know.
I'm going to council because I need this for our program.
Yeah, so we have to live with the Privacy Act,
Yep.
and the tribe doesn't necessarily have to if you took it over.
Not necessarily. We still have a job to do to protect
But
people,
whatever
information and rights,
decisions you got for that.
so. I worked at the school for 7 years, so I know about FERPA, HIPAA and all that stuff, so. Something you can work with, Adam on too, is creating those Privacy Act. And it's just more or less dataing what they have. I'm pretty sure we already have it. And then find all that out and then bring that assessment back to us and how this is all gonna work, and then we go from there. So if everybody's agreeable to that. Thank you, gentlemen.
Right now, those enrollment lists that we put out, we make sure that program director signs a release like so we know where it's at. And
Yeah,
that's,
and
that's just a.
same thing, because I signed for mine as well, so.
That just protects the tribal membership.
Thank you,
I'm
gentlemen.
sure they don't want their stuff all over the place.
Excuse me, I have a question on the superintendent's here. On our, constitution. Provisions made in everything, like you say, like, for people that are voted into, elected into office. Until there's a secretarial vote, you can't legally remove them until there's a secretarial vote to add it to the constitution. And we haven't had a secretarial vote, so it's not, we have to, by law, we have to go by the original constitution, correct? Legally,
That'd
you can't
probably be
legally
a,
remove
that'd
anybody
be
until.
that'd be a good
there's
question.
provisions added to the constitution, but until you have a secretarial vote, you can't, honor them until there's a secretarial vote. Am I correct? Does it say anywhere in the constitution right now where you can remove someone from office besides the provisions or the resolutions or whatever they did? Yeah, there is motions made, but it's not solid yet until you have a secretarial vote. And that's what the tribe's working on, correct?
I think you'd be, have to work with the Constitution, with what you got.
But they can't change it until our secretarial vote, right? And it's in process, it's in process for it to be in place, but until then, it's not solid. So legally, I mean, where does it say in black and white legally where it says that they can you can remove a person elected by the people from office? There's a provision made in that was put in place to the Constitution, but it hasn't been added yet until there's a secretarial vote. Am I right? That's what I'm trying to find out. From what I know, because I've been asking they say the Constitution's online, but it's not all added in there legally because we haven't had a secretarial vote. That's the only way you can change the Constitution.
Right. Dismissed.
Yep, thanks. Thanks, people, for stopping in.
That question?
I would say yes, but I'm not a lawyer, so you'd have to ask the tribe's lawyer. The legal
Well,
question.
he's sitting right there, and that's why I would like to address him in front of you, But thanks.
Thanks for coming down, guys.
Thank you.
Legally, you can't remove an elected official.
You can visit with the tribal attorney about that, but right now I gotta keep moving on this agenda. Stephanie, you wanna come on up?
Is it okay if I call Carmen on the phone?
That's fine.
Okay. You can stay right there? Yeah. I turned my ringers off. Ooh. Hopefully it's loud enough for you guys to hear.
Now we have a conference phone she can call into here too.
Oh, does she? Okay.
473-8065.
065.
8065, yeah.
Please, where'd that vice chairman go?
Take a call or something.
Oh, this is Carmen. Go ahead and leave me a message.
Oh, shoot. I don't know if she's gonna answer me. I texted her that I was here and I was up next.
Even if you just wanna brief us on what it's about,
Okay.
so I think I have an idea, but.
Hi, Steph.
Steph said, sit still, she said.
Worms.
Vice chairman. Okay, then.
But you're on your own, she said.
Okay. So, and the reason she wanted to get in here today instead of set up a, our grant renewal was released yesterday, our end date. Well, Native Women's Society doesn't want to be our fiscal sponsor anymore. Or that's not their scope of work. They're, they cover, they're a coalition. They don't do victim services. But I don't want to see our program become a tribal program. So I'm working on the nonprofit status. We received our articles of incorporation certificate yesterday from the state. But like I said, the next grant round is, the date was, it's released yesterday. It's due by.
So looking for more of like a fiscal sponsor as like just a pass through more?
I was thinking like a charter program.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what you asked.
Yeah, a charter program where we would basically, I tried to look into it and everybody I asked doesn't know anything about it. What the codes are that pertain to a charter program under the tribe. Basically, on my end, with the program wise, we would operate the way the Native Women's Society operates, the way she runs her program now. We would use her CPA, we would use her system, everything. But we would still be under the tribe. Because she doesn't want to, and she's going to write the grant. She'll write the grant. Our grant also doubles this round. It was, I think our award was 529 this last round. Our next one, because of the maintenance of the grant and the upkeep and stuff, will be a $900,000 award. So.
Okay. I just want something.
Did you find something?
It's on the BIA's website.
I didn't even think of the BIA. I was just looking for like tribal codes.
Tribally chartered corporation. A tribally chartered corporation is an entity organized by a tribal government that's pursuant to a tribal code or resolution. Advantages: avoid state regulation and taxation. A tribally chartered corporation doing business on tribal lands whose stock is owned by American Indians or Alaska Natives is subject to state control or taxation. However, if a tribally chartered corporation conducts business outside the resolution, some states may require foreign corporation registration to operate within the state. They're easy to form. No approval is needed from the federal government or state authorities to establish this kind of corporation because it's formed entirely within a tribal government, which enacted the Ordinance Business Corporation Code and in the resolution that authorized the corporation's formation.
So in a nutshell.
So, yeah. If the charting tribe has enacted a business corporation code, this will often spell out precisely, but I don't know that we have a corporation code. On the other hand, if tribal council has simply adopted a resolution authorizing a tribal chartered corporation, organizers of the corporation must create their own articles of incorporation and filings.
Yeah, and we,
That's what you said you're doing, right?
yeah. We have, I'm working with another program, a nonprofit organization, Strengthening a Circle, Hoopa Mountain. You guys are probably, oh my gosh, they're willing to, you know, she's like, they're going to help us on to the next steps with getting, well, what we need though right now is we have to go under the tribe. We have to, or we have to close our doors. But I just want this time to, I want this next grant round to have time to work on this nonprofit status. Get that so we can be a standalone program. I've had instances down there where I wasn't able to help because our grant only covers 5 crimes. Okay, if you're a victim of DV, rape, stalking, dating violence, or trafficking, that's who we can help. We can help assist in any way that we're able to. But I've had so many people come with homelessness, with family violence. I mean, if I was to do that, I could lose the funding. If I was to, go out of my scope of where I'm supposed to be at, I could lose our funding altogether. But if we can get ourselves established, there's family violence money out there. There's lots of family violence money, especially for us who, we need it. We need it. This reservation needs it. Our people need it. I'm not trying to make us dependent. I want to see like societal change. I want to just be there, be a safe, a sustainable, a steady place for our people. And that's why I want to work towards a nonprofit status. There's lots of other fundings out there. There's funders out there who have been offered to buy our house for us, to have offered to get us a vehicle, and but we have to be a nonprofit organization. And we don't have time to do it between now and April. We can't do it. It's just not impossible.
I know one thing, so we just, I'm on the board of directors for South Dakota Native Tourism Alliance. And that's what we just did. We just finishing up that process are in the middle of the process of becoming a standalone organization, nonprofit. And so if we're like right now applying for grants and stuff, all we need is I think we found it, but a fiscal sponsor just for someone to pass the money through to us. Mm-hmm. And then that way it's not really under them. And just passing through them to get to us.
And see, that's what Native Women's Society is for us right now. But they're not going to take us on another 3 years.
Is that what you're asking?
I want to be a chartered program.
So not this.
Something like with the housing. I was like, well, they have the Lord Brule Housing only way they get their funds is because of the tribe. But still, they're on their own.
And then I know we've done it for.
The casino is their own.
Tribal Water, or Great Plains Tribal Water Alliance. We also have done a couple pass-through things through them as well.
College also.
Yeah.
Well, I reached out to Natalie on it, and she's said she didn't have any information on a charter program. But
I think if we approve it, you have developed your own articles and stuff.
Would you just have to?
And then it's probably be council res.
Okay, council resolutions.
You would. Or to say we recognize you as I'd like to find those housing documents.
And Carmen, I think, has done this for a program before. So she would have more information for you guys. It's just that Ursula had said we could probably get in early next week, but she'll be in DC next week, so that's not, And the way the system's set up right now, there's an accountant not up here. I don't touch any money, it's, yet it's available. It's available for people. And since I've been there, and like I said, I feel bad because I haven't been able to help a lot of people where homelessness is concerned. I can't take them into shelter. That's not what our grant covers. And with Carmen being our fiscal sponsor, she's real kind of strict on that. And then we also have
another hour.
A system set up to where this is where we clock in and we clock out and it's tracked. So no matter what, we put in there's an honest 8 hours. We don't get paid for no personal time. And we have to put in for leave anytime we don't make our 8 hours in a daytime. So that's how our schedules work out. If we have to go in at night, we can come in later in the day I really like that system. I don't have anything against the tribe. I just don't feel like victim services should fall under the tribe.
Yeah, then you need to create an oversight board to make sure that, you guys have a regulating authority to oversee anything that might arise of that. But I wonder if, when the tribe had it before, it was under the tribe. Remember if you were living around here at the time when the old domestic violence shelter was down there, where I think it's where those teachers live now, across from Bugsy's son's house. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's where we go, and was it Lori? Maybe Lori Ziegler at the time.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
I didn't know much.
It was under them.
I don't know either.
That?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think this grant, this time was created, Lisa was behind this one, but wasn't able to be involved. So that's why Native Women's Society got involved.
Because it would have been duplication of services because they provide the same thing over there, maybe?
She was on a blacklist or something with the feds.
Okay.
That's all I know. And I don't care to know anything else about that kind of stuff.
So what's your take on this, Adam?
It's a pretty big decision to be made just hearing it on one time.
So what, is it kind of just getting the framework of how it's set up now and giving you a chance to review that? And then how they would go forward applying for a 501c3 nonprofit status? Or is that something more you can bounce ideas off of Glover from our 17?
Yeah.
The LBC?
Yeah. If the tribe is wanting to move in that.
It's a much needed provided service, and I know homeless is a tough issue for everybody. I mean, even our shelters get full. We have limited places to go with them, but the need for this program that's already here does need to continue, that's for sure.
Are they a separate entity up there on the Shannon River?
The Native Women's Society?
Yeah.
That's only where her office is located. Her program, and it's because she's the director, but like when it moves on to the next director, most likely, they don't have a actual base. And she doesn't do any victim services. She's a coalition manager.
Isn't that, do they have a White Buffalo Calf Women's Society there too?
Yeah.
That's in Rosebud.
Rosebud, okay.
Yep. And they're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I think just them and these guys across the river, but they're not eligible for government funds right now.
You want to go with that one?
So you can have Carmen share some of that information with you, relay it out to Adam there. You can start working on it from there.
We have,
Got your articles of incorporation yesterday, so you're a corporate entity already?
state
the state.
recognized.
Okay.
And
It's part of a process.
we were trying to get this done before the grant ended. If we would have made the nonprofit status, then we could have applied for the grant under ourselves and just
Yeah.
kept going, but now we can't.
And so like ideally you would have secured nonprofit status through the state processes.
And government, at the government level too. Strengthening the circle, they're willing to walk us through every step of that. She was like, as long as I have you on the phone, you have everything you need in front of you, they're like, I went to their training, I'm part of their network, so it's really good. She's, and that's all they do is just build up native nonprofits.
So because of the crucial timeline, in a nutshell, and please correct me if I'm wrong, that you need to apply for this grant under the tribe right now until they get funded under their own 501c3 nonprofit, right? In a nutshell?
And then I'm liking what Chris read from the BIA, that charter. And you're thinking that would check all your boxes.
Yeah, and it would, we would still be, I mean, we would have to run under the codes and the bylaws of the tribe and all that. I mean, what we do anyway, just because this is home and this is our people, but our program would basically stay the same.
Yeah.
We would get our own, have our own payroll, have a board established. We needed to have that, and we needed to have them have meet and get that stuff set up before we could actually even apply for that.
Yeah.
So we got that far. But we got people helping us.
You and I should get together, like Clyde said, and put together basically a draft resolution for this council.
Yes.
to tee up on a motion that recognizes your entity as a chartered tribal business or tribal nonprofit for a temporary duration, or maybe that doesn't even need to be
And
duration.
how the status is attained.
Established, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
You should write that up.
Okay.
And for,
I want to, just say, I think you do have the support of the council, because we all know how important any person in domestic violence finds herself in a situation, does need a advocate and a safe place to go. So I don't speak for myself, but I think I can speak for all of us that we do support it. Just setting up that framework and how it's all going to work, and then making sure we get it right the first time, so we don't have to go back to the drawing board and try to redo it again, and especially because of that timeline of the grant. But you did submit for the grant already? No?
Just came open yesterday.
Okay.
And Carmen just told me that today on the phone when I was sitting out there. She's like, oh, didn't I send that to you?
So then she's going to probably need a resolution that the tribe supports this, right?
It sounds like you need the resolution making the charter more than the support.
We already have we already came in front of them for a resolution for support.
Yeah, and we did that, I think Randy
Couple months
came.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, back in
So it
April.
would just be the resolution for the charter.
yeah.
Yeah. And like Clyde said, we should have more at our fingertips while we put together whatever decision that they're gonna make that day.
And we can get on, as long as we know the tribe's not opposing the idea, we can move forward with applying for the grant. Getting a budget together, but we wouldn't submit that until we gave it to you. But it's important that we get working on it.
So Native Women's Society right now handles your guys' finances for you?
Yeah, well, Aaron does, it's the accountant service out of Pierre.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, Anderson and,
So like a CPA firm?
yeah. Yeah, and I would like to continue with him. He's really good.
So they conduct your guys' audits for you too and all that?
Yep. And that's like important for our funders, because we got to have a yearly audit, and that almost makes us like eligible for funding just like that.
All right, I mean,
I think we're at a good enough place to come back before council with something better.
just for that timeline purposes too, let's see how much you guys can work together on this, and what we need to come back to the table and pass, or if we can do a concurrence letter and tell resolutions is needed in place for that. Whatever way works for them is okay with me, so. With you, after you get to sit down with her and figure this all out, how it's gonna work. Did you guys create a oversight board then through NWS? Who's our Lord Brew rep on there?
No, we just, our board is from the community.
Okay, that's what I mean. Okay,
Yep.
So,
Yep, it's all community. It was suggested because they feel like it should be people inside of our community that live here.
so
Not like discriminating against anybody.
so your whole board is comprised of Lord Brew people then for Restoring Hope?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and they all had to sign. Oh, no, yeah, we do have somebody from here. I forgot.
But she is native and she's from across the river. She just lives up there.
I forgot, I was gonna share with you the articles of incorporation, but I didn't. I just had it, yeah, it just was emailed to me today. And I didn't print it.
With Adam.
Okay. Because it has all of our board signatures and names and dates and.
So is there anything else you need from us today?
No. When would we be able to get
I
together?
don't know, I'm gonna follow you out. If you're
Okay.
gonna stand up and thinking I'm gonna follow her.
Okay, thank you.
And hopefully we can all put an end to all that negative stuff with the DV and stuff, so. That's why I said I don't know if you're on our CPT team, but why I proposed a Healthy Homes Initiative.
You know, I've requested to get on the tribe's email because I don't know anything that's going on up here unless I see it in Facebook after. So, I mean, and it's not good for me to be hanging out up here. No, just kidding. When I'm supposed to be working.
Adam,
So.
Ronnie's office before he leaves, if he didn't leave already, then ask if she can get on the email server. So,
Okay, all right.
thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Yep,
You
good
guys
luck.
keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Not at this moment, I'm gonna grab some contact info and then come back for
Is Emily out there? She's the other one on the agenda?
any other.
Got personnel.
You ladies have anything before we go into closed session?
So I visited with the tribal manager and I'd take it from there. He said he was gonna talk to the tribal attorney. But on my, okay, so we shouldn't have to talk to tribal attorney. You guys are the council. You guys are the law, you know? You guys hired the attorney to do stuff for you, but you guys should know you guys are all elected officials. You guys should know your constitution. You guys should know there has to be a secretary of anything legally. I've been illegal most of my life. Now I'm finally legal, so I'm trying to do everything the right way.
How do you know we don't know the Constitution?
Because why would you suspend an elected official that's voted by the people when it's not, the provision that was made isn't even set in stone yet because we haven't had a secretarial vote, so you guys can't even remove an elected
Probably.
until you have, you know, I know the BIA is setting up something, I know they're working on a electoral, secretarial vote or whatever, but it hasn't been no date exact set yet. So until then, the original constitution is what everybody should go by. I mean, you know, it's just like, I can't say, oh, whenever they change that law, then I'll go put myself in, you know? I'm gonna just be out here and hang out here because they didn't even pass that law yet, so I could still, you know, that's not, you know what I mean?
I don't think so. I'm trying to follow you.
Okay, so nobody's to break the law, right? There's laws that are made, we have to abide by. Okay, so that's just like breaking a law. The Constitution is the law, it's like our tribe, it's the government, it's what's bonded the whole tribe together. We have laws to go by too, just like, you know, and when they made the Constitution, you know, the whole tribe as a whole agrees to, okay, this, and this. Okay, so when we want to change the Constitution, then we're gonna let the people vote, make the decision. Well, should we add this to the Constitution or should we not? And then until we have that secretarial vote, then it's not set in stone yet. Until then, we have to abide by the original Constitution. Yeah, you guys have the Constitution online. And where does it say? Does it say anywhere on there where that you can remove an elected or suspend or whatever, an elected official that was voted by the people? There's a provision that was made, yes, to add it to the Constitution, but it hasn't been added yet because there hasn't been a secretarial vote.
Let's see.
Correct?
It is.
You guys should know more about this than me.
No, I disagree with that. Are you talking about what, anybody in particular?
Secretary Treasurer, you suspended the Secretary Treasurer, which was basically illegal because
How'd you find that out?
I was out there and she told me she was suspended.
You were where?
She approached me. I asked her if she's going to the council meeting and she said they just suspended her. I just asked her if she was coming back up here and she said yes, she's bringing her phone back. And I said, why are you leaving? She said, they suspended you. I said, they can't suspend you. They can't remove you until it's set in stone. You're elected by the
Article 5 of the
people.
Constitution on vacancies and removal.
In the original Constitution.
But that's on the Constitution that was approved in
It's a
86.
provision though that that goes on the secretarial vote. It's not set in stone because the people didn't agree to it or disagree to it. You know what do you see are you following me here on the because there's a lot of things that they did resolutions and passed and provisions and amendments that they did just to, get like money for the tribe or however they get their funding, like fiscal year stuff or, because when you do audits, there's got to be set, everything has to be correct when they do their audits. Okay, so there's this amendment and there's this provision that is set. So until that you have that secretarial vote, you can't legally remove anybody from office until it's agreed by the people as a whole. So originally, our constitution, we don't even have a full constitution. I've been visiting, I've been asking people, do you
Point
guys
of
have a
order, Mr. Chairman,
constitution
this
committee
individual's
that
not
is
on the
working
agenda.
on it? Like Arthur Coleman and them, they're all working on fixing it or doing whatever. They're the one that's setting up the meeting with the CIA to get the secretary of vote, but until then, you have to abide by the original constitution. That's long, I mean, that's just like.
Okay, there's a point of order, real quick. Yep. Yeah, what's the question?
How do you see that even fair?
I'm like, okay, so Chris pointed out something, that's the provision that was added to the.
What we're following is what we were sworn in under this right here. When I asked Two Bulls, which constitution does the tribe follow? He said the same one you have right there. That's what's under the BIA. So that's what we follow.
Should follow everybody though.
It is.
That's why I asked him for you guys, and he said, yeah, but he's not a lawyer, and you guys say, talk to your tribal attorney, why do I have to talk to tribal, you guys are elected people.
He did give you the explanation, so that's it. He did call for a point of order, so that's where we're at.
Well, that's illegal, because we haven't had a secretarial vote. That's a provision that was added to the Constitution, but it was not set in stone until the secretary. When's the last time?
You didn't even have a criminal charge.
When did the tribe actually have a secretarial vote? When's the last time there was one?
I think there was a criminal charge or something.
Okay, that date is when the Constitution that the tribe must abide by, correct? I'm addressing the point, Chairman, correct?
Yeah, as far as I know, last secretarial election was in '86.
And that's that Constitution.
That's the one we're sworn in under. Like I told you, I asked the Bureau which one they recognize, and it's this one that I was given when I came in office in 2016. So.
And does it say you can remove an elected official on it?
Yeah, under Article 5, there's Section 1, and there's also
Take the dirt on
Section 2.
Who's digging the dirt for you guys?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so yes, say a council member got arrested, okay, so they go to jail, are they gonna go to federal prison, are they gonna go to prison, is it a felony, is it a misdemeanor? You gotta look at those points of view.
I'm not the court, so I cannot answer.
But you also have to look at facts.
But I'm not gonna argue, it's a personnel decision, so.
Whose decision is that? decision is that anyway?
It's the council as a whole. Yeah.
Oh, your council has holes in it though.
That's your opinion, so.
Okay, I think we need to move on to the next item on the agenda.
That's all everybody does is lets it fly past them.
Every time, well, especially with me,
That's a bunch of BS.
and that's the law, I mean, but shit, you know, if I break the law, holy shit, Pam's going to prison. But it's okay for our own council to break their own, that's a law, that's the constitution and bylaws. That's what you're sworn in, the constitution and bylaws. And that is not the constitution from the,
That's the one I was sworn in under, so that's why.
well, then that, you should be asking, well, where's the original, what constitution do I go by? Is this the one that?
Ready for personnel.
When was this constitution made? What year? Because the last secretary, what was it, 19 whatever?
It's just so unfair, you guys. Come on now. There's other people on this board that has charges worse than a resisting arrest because of something she didn't even do.
And, oh yeah, and
How are you gonna take
It is
away somebody that
until-
represents me? How are you gonna take away somebody that represents me over something stupid?
well, it's innocent until proven guilty. She's not even proven guilty yet, so why was she even removed? She's not guilty. She hasn't been proven
And look
by
at
the
the two
court
people
of law
that are
guilty.
here that probably has the biggest issue with it ain't even in here. They don't even give a shit. Like, come on now. She represents me. I don't care. I'll fight for her. That's a bunch of BS. Resisting arrest for something she didn't even do?
Well, that's not for the council attorney, that's the courts.
But she's not guilty.
No, on her charges, she was arrested, and I'm not gonna, no, point of order, we're not gonna discuss this here right now. Council made a decision, we're gonna stick by that. That's it, right now. And she has her chance to appeal her decision. There's 5 days from the notice of her suspension, and we'll deal with that then. But I'm not trying to argue with nobody, I'm just stating it was a council decision.
Mr. Chairman, I asked that we want to close session.
Yeah, and it is
Your council has holes.
4:41, we're in closed session, but we need to close the meeting because we have to go into personnel right now. So,
Good turn us off.
It'll be back.
Yeah.
Morning under? When was that?
There ain't even a full council. Look at, there's a hole in it right now.
There's so many amendments and resolution provisions in the constitution that they change, it's not.
I don't care, like, for who's supposed to represent me now.
it's gonna get worse before it gets
You
better.
up, turn that off here?
No, that stays running. The camera will have to get shut off, but she'll do that when she comes back.
Other shifts.
Put your folder on there, Ursula. Excuse me, Donnie.